Mary Haskell. I love that song. Live from the Trustmark Studios, the bank that fits you to a T. Trustmark, people you trust, advice that works. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. On with me.
Mary,
yeah, go.
Mary, you're juking like you were part of that song.
That is in my bones, as we say, Perez.
That's a get down Sunday morning song, isn't it? That's pretty darn good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
One of my favorites too, Paul.
Morning, guys. I appreciate it. So we got a big shebang coming up next week, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and we'll tell you about tickets and everything else. But again, it's a big gala, and it is in your honor. So congratulations, first of all. Let me read some of this. The evening will honor Ole Miss alumni Mary and Sam Haskell, who have invited their special friends from the entertainment industry, and you have a long list of those from your many, many years, both of you, to join in the anniversary celebration. You'll receive the Ford Center's prestigious Concerto Award. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you
Italian-American can't pronounce that.
Concerto,
Patronage of the center and also the arts. How did this come about? And again, this is only the third time this award has been given, is it not?
That's correct. We're very grateful to Julia Aubrey and the Ford Foundation board for selecting us for this. We have been avid supporters of the Ford Center for many years. And when Robert Kayak called us 20 years ago to come get involved in the opening, we had made a substantial endowment to the Ford Center to help get it started. And we put on a great show 20 years ago. And when it came time for the 20th anniversary, the university decided to honor Mary and me. And so to thank them, we're bringing all our friends in to put on a big concert that will hopefully raise more money for the arts and scholarships for kids who are interested in theater and music and dance.
Here's why you need to get your tickets for this, because just give me some of the names who are going to be there.
Well,
headliners.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman is hosting it, which is great.
The interesting thing is Morgan
got time to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you just saw him on the Oscars the other night, and then I think he's in New York on the Today Show or something.
Good Morning America.
Good Morning America this week.
Yeah.
But anyway, Morgan has been gracious to return 20 years later because he was the original host for the official opening of the Ford Center that Sam produced that show 20 years ago. And then, as I said, our headliners, very similar to what Sam used to do in Amory, right, Paul, with the Stars Over Mississippi.
Yes.
You've got an all-skate of celebrities in the first act. And then everybody goes to intermission, and then you come back to Marilyn McCoo and Billy Davis Jr., 8-time Grammy Award winners, and they start with the Fifth Dimension Best. Then they go to kind of like the Solid Gold era, and then they go to their new recordings. I think they've never been in better voice. They're selling out all over the country, and we have them right here in Pittsburgh. Yeah,
and they've been close friends of ours.
How many of these people have Mississippi connections?
Well, Gerald McCraney. Gerald McCraney has
that,
Mississippi connection. He's coming, and
I'd love to say that Kathy Ireland does because number one, she made every single one of the Stars Over Mississippi concerts. And then she also throughout certainly the last 25 years that we've been aware, she has been a benefactress, just always sending things many times anonymously, when there were times of need in Mississippi. She is kind of somewhat of a sister of Mississippi, I'll say.
Well, Trent Lott entered her into the Congressional Record years ago as the benevolent benefactress of Mississippi. After Katrina, she sent several 18-wheelers to the Delta and the coast with food and diapers and formula and all sorts of things, just loaded to the brim. And she never publicizes it. She just does it because it's in her heart to do it. Debbie Allen, 6-time Emmy winner. Debbie's been here a dozen times for different charity events for us. Christine Baranski, the Tony and Emmy Award winner. And Christine was the star of the movie Dolly and I did called Christmas on the Square that we won Best Movie for last year. And Bellamy Young, who was the star of Scandal. She played Melly Grant, the First Lady, and she's also the star of Mike Walton's franchise.
She's the new Olivia Walton.
She's the new Olivia Walton. And
we have folks that feel like they have a deep connection to Mississippi. And we ask some stars that it's their very first time to visit the state. And I think that's what makes for a really magical weekend. So we're thrilled to death.
It is amazing when people come here for more than one time, even the first time, they just feel at home in Mississippi. And again, that's due to the people, as we always say. I haven't had a chance to talk to you, Sam, since the holidays and the Dolly Parton movie. How did that work out?
Paul, it blew up. It was seen by 20 million people. We broke all ratings records, and NBC aired it twice. And the actor who played Sam Haskell has gotten a lot of attention, especially from my grandchildren.
Yeah, I can imagine. But you were right, because you were on with me, and you were on with me, and you were saying that there was a lot of similarities in that. When I saw it, I said, he's right. That was a pretty good take on Sam as a younger guy.
When I get nervous, I put my hand to my neck like this when I get nervous, and he caught that tick in me, and he did it several times. And the people who know me just scream, just, oh my God, he's got him. He's got him. But it was very real, and Dolly was very particular about it. She wanted me to play myself. And I said, Dolly, I cannot lose 20 pounds and memorize 1 million lines and produce this movie. So I've got to produce this movie. And she begrudgingly let me book Tom to play Sam. And about the second day, I'm on the earphones at my monitor, and they don't know I can hear them. But she says, well, Tom, you're no Sam Haskell, but you're pretty close. Welcome to the family. So I knew we had done the right thing.
Yeah. Something in the works for next year? Something new, or is it? I know we're going to see this one again, but is there something new?
I've got several things that are in the works, and I'm very proud of.
You're going to see more of the Waltons for sure.
You're going to see more of the Waltons,
Good.
I've been tasked to do another version of the original Christmas Carol, which is very exciting. And I've always wanted to do it. There have been all these different versions of it that have been kind of comedy versions, and different comedic actors want to play Scrooge. And I want to do the dark, real story that Charles Dickens wrote. And so I'm very, very excited about that. And we may be taking a little trip down the Yellow Brick Road in something else that I'm working on that's confidential right now. But
that's a good hint.
But that's a good hint. And I'm very, very excited.
I can see Morgan playing in the Scrooge thing somewhere, but Yellow Brick Road, I'm just trying to fit him in both of those two things.
Well, we may have to do a nationwide search for who skips down the Yellow Brick Road. But anyway,
I agree with you with Morgan in the Dickens Christmas Carol.
Yeah, in Scrooge.
But tricky is what you said at the beginning. He's so darn busy. We can't. We're just so lucky to have him in Oxford for several days.
I was just watching him, and I was mentioning it to the audience earlier this week. I was just watching him in the new movie with the killer cereal or something. I forgot what it was, the new movie that was done some of it up in the Delta area with Bill Luckett before his death, and it was absolutely amazing. So those things keep rolling out. Tickets, if you want tickets for this, they're from $25 to $60 with reduced prices for Ole Miss students, faculty, staff, and retirees. How many people are we talking about to be seated in the Ford Center?
1,100, and it is almost sold out. And they're taking a list of anyone who might call. We feel so blessed that so many people wanted to come. And
the best thing to do, if anybody's interested, is call the Ford Center box office at 662-915-7411. Are you proud of me for
tweet that out in a moment? I'll tweet that out in just a moment to let people know. 662-915-7411. A lot of people have never been there, but that Ford Center has been a gem for the state of Mississippi. A little bit from you guys, how that originated and the history behind that.
Well, Gertrude Castella Ford gave a huge endowment that was pursued by Robert Kayat for several years, and the millions of dollars that she gave helped us do that.
Hold on, we'll do this after we got a bump coming up here, and we'll do that. The story behind the Ford Center with Mary and also Sam Haskell We'll continue with that. Dixon Williams at 8:37 as we truck on for St. Paddy's Day and a Friday. Back with more next.
I've captured one or two. I've reached for the stars, and I have even held a few.
Now, here's a question. I don't want to talk over Mary, but are you going to perform, by the way? Or are you just going to sit and watch?
Well, I'll be honest. At the very beginning discussions, I was like, no, I feel awkward. If we're the honorees, I shouldn't be on stage. But both Bellamy Young asked me to do a duet. So she and I are singing the song For Good that is from the very album you just were playing from. It's that duet from Wicked. And so she asked me to sing with her, and I'm thrilled. And then Laurie Gale Stevenson, who is an Ole Miss alum, Broadway star by her own rights. She starred in Phantom of the Opera, on Broadway. Laurie also and I will close the first act. So I'm singing twice.
And Sam,
we
what
could
are you
not.
singing? You're not singing anything, are you?
No, Sam will not be singing.
I'll be
Ford Center, and that's the safe thing to do, behind the scenes type stuff. The Ford Center, the centerpiece of the university's cultural and scholarly mission to present performing arts and visiting lecturers, offers an average of 150 events annually. When we left before the break here, we were talking about the history of this thing, how it started. Continue that, just a little thumbnail sketch of how that came into being.
Well, Mary reminded me that the Ford Foundation, led by Cheryl and Stephen Sims and the Papa family, have given upwards of $25 million over the last 20 years to the endowment and the building of the theaters, and it's quite a remarkable structure, and we have to give all the credit in the world to Robert Kayat for his relationship with Gertrude Ford in getting that endowment and getting that money to build that glorious place. And it's not just a great place for Mississippi, it's a great place for the southeastern part of the United States.
Think about it, Paul. Robert's legacy with the Ford Center, if we had not had the Ford Center, we would not have a location to host a presidential debate. We wouldn't have had a location. It's all these things that his vision for needing that facility provided. And then under the direction of Julia Aubrey, currently as the director of the Ford Center, they continue to bring in everything from, the best and the brightest of talent from New York and all around the country. You can see a touring company of a Broadway show, or you can see Renee Fleming, the greatest opera singer in the world. And then also everything in between. I think Lyle Lovett just almost sold out the Ford Center the other day and put on a phenomenal concert. So I love the diversity of the programming at the Ford Center. There's something for everybody there.
And through the Ole Miss Women's Council, we had Dolly there last year.
Of course.
And
so do you remember we came on and shared with you that Dolly Parton was receiving the Legacy Award? So Dolly did the event in the Ford Center, which was the Imagination Library Story Time for Dolly. And oh my gosh, I think we had something like, we sold out the house. So I'm guessing about 700 of the people were children. Yeah. And had story time with Dolly Parton reading. And that was, again, its own unique experience.
But just
I have an archive with Robert Kayat when I did the interview with him, and it's one of our Gallo archives that's in the system. And I'm trying to find this, and if I can find it, I'll play it. But it was rather humorous. The first meeting that went on where he went to ask for some money, and she couldn't pronounce his name. It's just hilarious.
Dr. Canoe.
That's it. Called him Dr. Canoe, and
my favorite part is when you said, well, Robert, what did you say? Did you correct her? And he said, absolutely not. She can call me whatever she
wants. It was like a journeyman or some amateur going up to a Hall of Famer and just didn't know what just was out of place. But if I can find that, I will play it. How long is this going to last? Do you think it's... Do you think going to be maybe an hour, 2 hours? How long are you thinking? 2.5 hours? How long?
2 hours, I think. You got way too much talent on stage for anything under 2 hours. The curtain, it begins at 7:30, And I would say everybody will be on their way home, before 10 o'clock.
Hopefully, but it's a full 2-hour show and a 20-minute intermission, so it'll be running up close to 10.
Yeah.
But
Morgan, is Morgan going to do anything? Is he going to do anything at all when he's there? He's going to be the host.
He's hosting, and he'll be doing all the introductions.
And as he can only do, his interesting, the divertisement, right? His factoids and musings. I think another really cool thing is going to be that with Gerald McCraney, with his Mississippi roots, with obviously his stellar career in Hollywood, our fabulous favorite lady of Oxford, Patty Lewis. We've asked Patty to be on stage and basically interview and have this wonderful kind of charming, reflective. So he's going to tell through Patty's leadership all kinds, I'm sure, of amazing stories from his career.
And we also have Mississippi maestro Bruce Livingston, who's going to be playing the piano.
I forgot about that. We can't forget about that. Yeah.
Pedro Segunda, this international percussionist, is coming in and doing master classes at the university before his performance on Saturday night. So we're bringing a lot of different kinds of performance in that I think will show off the theater and will be a great show for our very supportive audience.
Tell me a little bit about the award itself. Have you seen that? The statue is the original is seven? Did it say 17 feet tall?
Yes. So I was going to say you can't not have seen the award in that it is based on the exquisite sculpture that sits at the front of the Gertrude Ford Center. And that is the cellist, violinist.
So it's a replica.
So what they did was take that and they somehow, I don't know how, somehow they shrunk it, created a miniature version. And that is that's what you get. As the Concerto Award. And I'm thrilled to death. We'll have our own little mini Ford statue right there at the house.
Well, could he go somewhere close to the Emmy?
It'll be right next to her. Right next to her.
Sam's other girlfriend does not leave much room around her for anything else. But I definitely.
Miss Emmy is the only one of my girlfriends Mary will allow in the house.
I was going to say, if anything is dusted off when it gets a little tarnished, it's probably the Emmy. It's just a little feather duster on that one every once in a while.
Special cloth.
Guys, it's always a pleasure again, and I did tweet it out. If you want more information on the remaining tickets, at 662-915-7411. Good luck on it. I hope anybody does that quickly because it won't last long with a few tickets that are left. So, Final thoughts.
Well, just know, and we appreciate you, Paul. We always appreciate you and your support of what we do. And this is going to be a great weekend in Oxford. We are hosting a dinner party for our celebrities and some of our sponsors on the Friday night before. And so Oxford's going to have a town full of stars for 2 days.
I should ask this because anytime somebody like this goes on, people are always asking me, because I kin folks there, what else is going on? And I didn't ask them, what else is going on this time in Oxford? Any other games or anything going on?
Yeah, baseball
is going on.
They will be in town.
Yeah, that is in town. So needless to say, parking has been negotiated previously.
Well, good luck on finding a place to stay. That's all I can say.
That's another problem.
We heard on the Morgan Wallen, because the concert that we're promoting here and giving away a couple of tickets to the Vaught Hemingway Suite to watch the event, is if you want a bed and breakfast, you're probably going to pay $1,000 a night. It's nothing available for that weekend. That's coming up in April, but it's a busy community and it keeps growing. It's just absolutely amazing. Guys, thank you so very much. I appreciate you spending some time with us.
Thank you, Paul.
Take care. Good luck.
Bye, Perez.
You got it.
Bye, Perez.
Thank you, man.